though not from Plateau, but of the Plateau. And we are very proud of that. And so whenever something bad happens, we shouldn't shy away from identifying with our brothers. So that whenever we're rejoicing as well, we do join. When there's politicking, sometimes we come here to campaign as well. So we shouldn't wait until active politics begins for us to come and start blabbing. Well, we miss the opportunity to really empathize with our people who are suffering. The reason why we're here, Your Excellency, is in relation to the unfortunate massacres that took place on Christmas Eve, where so many lives were lost. And it beats our imaginations always as to why these things will be happening in a country like Nigeria. Violence, sponsors of violence, and those who actually participate in deploying violence. We may not know the reason why they do this, especially on the Plateau, but we cannot deny that they want to upend our ways of life. Your Excellency, some cynics, I read some commentaries who are trying to allude for political reasons that maybe the blame may be at the corridors of this State House. But the truth is that though the Chief Security Officer, we know that you don't control troops. We know it. Except those who doesn't know how the Federation of Nigeria is structured. So obviously, we've had your passion even before you came in as governor. You spoke, some of us at the campaigns who were there, about this violence that is threatening our civilization. And we have seen how you have pursued the issue of peace on the Plateau. But no matter how passionate you are, if you don't have the troops to deploy, it means that you have to rely on the authorities that control the troops. And you might be reduced to just passing information. And if it's not acted upon, then what do you do? Because we don't expect you to lead your commissioners into this kind of battle. It will be suicidal. So I want those to know where maybe blame may lie. You see, the truth is that some will think that the perpetrators of this violence are only crazy. They are dangerous. They are not just crazy, they are very dangerous. And the truth is that they will not stop until we stop them. They will not. Who has the responsibility to stop them? Of course, the Commander-in-Chief. Previously, the Commanders-in-Chief have reduced themselves into Mourners-in-Chief. But the truth is that they will have to elevate themselves from Mourners-in-Chief to Commanders-in-Chief in the true sense of that phrase. And that means using whatever coercive apparatus we have as a nation to locate where these people are and their sponsors, littered in the ungoverned spaces that we have them in Nigeria, whether on the Plateau, in Nasarawa, in southern Kaduna, in Zamfara, in Sokoto, in the northeast or in the south, wherever these people are and their sponsors, they must be located. And then after they have been located, the Commander-in-Chief will either have to take justice to them or bring them to justice. But the failure to take justice to them or bring them to justice has always been the bane of the fight against terrorism and violence in Nigeria, because it emboldened them. If they will kill on the Plateau and go scot-free, why won't they kill in any other state? In the northwest, in the northeast, in the south, and go scot-free? So for them, failure to act at that level is more or less an incentive for them to continue to deploy this unbridled violence on the people. So my call, therefore, is to the President to rise up and for him to know the condolences in these moments, whether they're on the plateau or elsewhere in this country, are better given in form of action against the perpetrators of this violence, not by mere words on paper. So, Your Excellency, we're here with our brothers to extend our heartfelt condolences to you. And
we regard you as their leader. We sincerely want to appreciate you because there is no gainsaying the fact that you have always been part and parcel of our lives of the plateau. And that's why you built your house here in Plateau. And you yourself was a victim of the unfortunate cycle of violence that was perpetrated, which led to the vandalization of your house as a sitting speaker, which tells you the degree of negligence that even sometimes those who are charged with the responsibility of protecting lives and property can get to that level of negligence. Because if a sitting speaker's house cannot be protected, then the rest of us are in trouble. But like I pleaded with you at that time, not to be discouraged, not to be daunted, because even the attack on your house that time was not an accident. It was well orchestrated. And that goes to underscore the challenges we are facing at the moment, that there is a deliberate orchestrated plan to cause mayhem with the sole aim of discomfiting us. And like I keep telling those who want to hear, that we may be knocked down, but we are not knocked out. Our spirits are not broken, because we know that God has placed us where we are, and that He is going to preserve us where we are. It's unfortunate that this cycle has continued for years, and we are praying that as a nation we'll get it right, so that we'll toe the path of justice and not allow people to slip into self-help. Because once we slip into self-help, then we will translate to Somalia, and everybody will become a warlord in his territory. But I want to thank God. I think I can, with all boldness, say that I see a desire for a shift with the current president. I see a desire to change the narrative, a desire to rewrite the story and get things right. I've interacted with him a couple of times, and I think he carries a burden to see how this will end. What we therefore need are critical leaders to cycle around him, to be able to expand his scope of understanding of the root and immediate causes of this problem, and the challenges and the solutions that need to be deployed to solve this problem. I've read so many commentaries in the media. I've listened to so many commentaries, some ignorant, some mischievous, some completely. I don't know if there's any institution that certifies security experts, but some people come on television and say they are security experts. I don't know who certified them, but they have little or no knowledge completely of what is going on. And that's why those of us that wear the shoe and feel the pinch have a responsibility to be able to put the issues into context. Recently, I would salute Senator Abdul Ningi, who raised some very germane points on the floor of the House, of the Senate. And let me encourage our National Assembly members. You don't need to represent any constituency on the Plateau to be able to raise issues of national concern about Plateau on the floor of the National Assembly, and that those who should listen should listen. If those of you in the National Assembly take responsibility, we will be helping Mr. President to ensure that the commanders-in-chief of the security agencies are put on their toes to do what they need to do. Because sometimes the president will issue instructions, he believes they are being carried out, but what is happening on ground is a different thing. Sometimes the commanders themselves issue instructions down the line, they think it is being carried out, but what is happening on ground is not a reflection of the commands they gave. And so we need to continue to sustain this national discourse on this issue of security. The moment we relax the floor of the House, of the Senate, and let me encourage our National Assembly members, you don't need to represent any constituency on the Plateau to be able to raise issues of national concern about Plateau on the floor of the National Assembly, and that those who should listen should listen. If those of you in the National Assembly take responsibility, we will be helping Mr. President to ensure that the commanders-in-chief of the security agencies are put on their toes to do what they need to do. Because sometimes the president will issue instructions, he believes they are being carried out, but what is happening on ground is a different thing. Sometimes the commanders themselves issue instructions down the line, they think it is being carried out, but what is happening on ground is not a reflection of the commands they gave. And so we need to continue to sustain this national discourse on this issue of security. The moment we relax, the moment everybody goes back to sleep. And like you rightly observed, sir, there's an economy that has been built around this insecurity. We need to know who are the financiers. You can't use 100 AK-47s or 49s. That's not a small amount of money. Who paid for it? Who paid for it? Where was it bought? And so the intelligence network in our national security architecture needs to up their game. They need to up their game. Sometimes it is true the troops on ground are handicapped without intelligence. And if the intelligence does not do its work, and of course, intelligence is not rocket science. You have to get people to be where things are happening to give you information. And sometimes the best partners in the intelligence network are the locals themselves. And when they give the information, how is it processed and how is it responded to? These are critical issues that we need to begin to look at. As a government, we want to thank Nigerians in general for the kind of support they have given us on the Plateau. I think more than ever, the Plateau has received the national attention and in fact, international attention more than ever before. But like you said, sir, we don't want to receive attention for the wrong reasons. We want to receive attention that is targeted at development and progress, and not just for consolation. We don't want to receive a consolation prize. We want to advance the cause of our people. And we therefore continue to count on all of you. Mr. Speaker, there are places where you will enter in this country where several people cannot enter. Your voice on many issues would matter where many voices would not matter. Therefore, urge you not to keep silent, but to keep pushing the interests of our people in this region. We as a government We'll continue to do our best to coordinate all the efforts, do all the man management we can to get the best results we can from whatever we have on ground. And we are pleading with our people to continue to live in peace with one another, to continue to eschew violence. We continue to plead with our people that the ultimate solution is not self-help, that we must get the national security apparatus up and working for the benefit of all of us. This is our desire. And therefore we have continued to advocate actions across divides, divides of faith, divides of ethnicity, because we can only win this battle as a collective and not as, divided people. The adage that divided we fall, united we stand, is ever true. And we'll continue to urge our people to walk that path. We want to thank you sincerely for taking out your time to pay us this visit. We're encouraged, we're motivated, and we'll continue to do our best to ensure that this ugly chapter in our history is closed forever. Thank you. God bless.
Thanks for checking out SYMFONI on YouTube. Please be sure to subscribe and like our videos for updates.